Another momentum story. Imagine your car at the top of one of those hills in San Francisco. The parking brake isn't on. The car is out of gear. And you decide, as Esther and her friend did, to just see what you can do with this boulder. So you just nudge your car from behind. And then you realize as it starts to move what is going to happen. So before the momentum gets really going, you change your mind, you step right out in front of it, the car bumps up against you, and no problem. But if you waited until the car was rolling down the hill and you're at the bottom of the hill trying to stop that momentum, not a good idea. And sometimes, even in the application of processes that we are offering you, there's so much momentum going that any attention to the subject just perpetuates the momentum, or you get mowed down by the momentum that is already there. So we are suggesting a new approach to this business of deliberate creating. And we want to tell you something that most people have not considered. And once you consider it and understand it and begin applying it to your own experience, it's going to serve you better than anything that you've ever applied before in terms of being a deliberate creator rather than a creator by default. If you can accept that you are a vibrational being living in a vibrational universe, and that in thought there is momentum, and if you can accept that in that thought that has momentum, that as you slumber, while you're asleep, the momentum stops because your point of attraction stops when you are not consciously focusing. When you wake up in the morning, your momentum, your point of attraction is at its slowest. And that is the opportunity for you to begin a new thought. Now, that means when you wake up in the morning, acknowledge it's a new day. Your momentum has ceased while you have been asleep. And that if you care about getting some momentum going in the direction of wanted rather than unwanted, that's the best time to do it. So a couple of months ago, Esther and several others began doing that. And on the first day, Esther didn't even make it till breakfast before the negative momentum had begun again, as she began thinking about things that she'd been worrying about from the day before. But after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 days, she had a better handle on it. And she was making it through breakfast and well into the time that she was checking email. In other words, once you begin to find the thoughts that feel good, and do you know why the thoughts that feel good are your indication of momentum? Because you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and the larger part of you still is. So when you, in your physical form, focus upon something with your physical brain, with your physical focuser, when you focus upon something, you activate a vibration because of that focus. And that activation that you've activated because of whatever you're giving your attention to has a relationship with the focus of the source within you. In other words, you have 2 vibrational vantage points all the time. Humans call that your soul. Sometimes they call it the God force or source. We've been referring to it as your inner being. But this non-physical energy, this vibrational being that is you, this eternal you, is pure positive energy. There is no resistance in that vibrational aspect of you. You're the only one who can introduce resistance into the equation. You're the only one who doesn't love you because the source within you does. The source within you loves those that you hate, and that's why hatred feels so awful within you. You empty yourself out of the source when you find a reason not to like someone. When Esther first heard that from us, she said, Abraham, apparently you don't know them like I know them. And we said, that's right, because we've tuned ourselves to a different aspect of them. And for some time she would say, well then let me enlighten you. Let me clarify to you what's wrong with this. But she never was able to convince us of what was wrong because the vibration of our appreciation of them was dominant in the equation. The vibration of love is dominant within you. You can pull yourself from it and it hurts when you do. Or you can relax and move to it because it's the strongest vibration that is calling you. So the emotion that you feel is your indication of how much you are allowing yourself to be who you really are. In other words, you feel valuable from your source perspective. When you feel diminished, that negative emotion is because you've got a vibration active within you that source does not have active. So as we've been explaining this to you for a while, you've been getting it. You get that, don't you? You understand your emotional guidance system. So then we began explaining to you that when you're sifting through the contrast of this magnificent variety of physical life, knowing what you don't want and therefore defining what you do want, you're launching these rockets of desire. You are literally sending vibrational signals. Can a signal be literal? Yes, because it can be read. Forward into what we've been defining as a vibrational reality. Now, this is usually where people begin to stray from this conversation. Because now we're talking about things you can't see or hear or smell or taste or touch. But we want you to know that while you can't maybe yet see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, you can feel it. This is the thing that we want you to understand. You can feel the frequency of the vibration of these desires. And when they first shoot from you, they feel fresh and good. You know that exhilarating feeling that you get when you have a new idea? Boom, it feels so good till you remember, oh yeah, I'm not good at that. Or that's not working out for me. But it is only when you introduce the contradictory vibration to it that it doesn't feel good. So you've launched these rockets. You launch them all day, every day on a myriad of subjects. Launch, 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 launch. Vibration going, vibration going, vibration going. And source feeling it, responding to it, becoming it, and keeping the vibration of it going. So we've been wanting to make it feel more literal to you by describing this vortex, which is a collection of these thoughts that you've been projecting. So it's not a reality yet, in the sense that you can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, and others can't either, but it is a vibrational reality. And you just have to take our word for it if you can't see it, and that's not pleasant, we know. That's why we want you to demonstrate it to yourself. So we explained to you that there is this vibrational version that will become a reality once you've practiced it enough that it's dominant within your vibration. And we want you to know this vibrational version that will become a reality of things unwanted and wanted, wanted or unwanted, because there is a vibrational version of everything before there is a manifested version of it. Because you got to practice the vibration of it long enough, there has to become enough momentum going before the boulder goes down the hill. In other words, there has to become enough momentum going. So there are all of these potential manifestations just ready. They're ripening for you depending upon the attention that you're giving to the subjects. So all kinds of things, wanted and unwanted, are readying themselves for you, or better said, they are amassing, and you are readying yourself for the realization of them. You with us so far? So we want to talk about that point, that something that has been a vibrational reality, a wanted or unwanted one, moves into your realization. What is it? What does it take? How long do you have to practice a thought before it manifests in your experience? And that moving from the vibrational beingness into something that can be realized by your physical senses is what we're calling moving from the vortex into your point of attraction. So then we're trying to find a way of describing what your point of attraction is. It's like this place that you stand. Someone suggested it be called the grid, it's like the framework of a house that we'll fill in with details later. So here you are standing in your point of attraction, and your point of attraction is based upon, it exists because of the thoughts that you've been thinking. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So the thoughts that you've been thinking that you would call beliefs, they're manifesting all over the place. Wanted and unwanted beliefs are happening in your experience all day, every day. So we want you to get this full picture. You were sourced before you came into this body. Only a part of you came, a larger part of you stayed non-physical. Here you are in your physical body, sifting and sorting, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, launching these rockets of desire, which are culminating in what we're calling this vortex. It's this holding place of potential manifestations of wanted and unwanted. And the way you feel is your indication of what's going to manifest. So we've been talking to you about your emotions for a while. When you feel awful, that means you're vibrating at a very different frequency than the source within you. When you feel wonderful, you're vibrating at a similar or same frequency of the source within you. So we devised this emotional guidance system to show you how far away despair, fear, or how close to love, appreciation, passion you can be vibrationally from who you really are, from the source within you, from the source who is becoming more and more and more as a result of the rockets that you are sending. So all kinds of potential places we're indicating a spinning disc of despair, a spinning disc of ecstasy, a spinning disc of overwhelmment. In other words, you're standing and it spins because law of attraction is bringing it to you. In other words, it's coming based upon what you've got going on vibrationally. So we want you to think now about what your point of attraction is and understand, and this is the most important thing that you will ever come to know, understand that the way you feel is your indication of what's coming, is your indication of how you're going to feel when it gets there. If you're hanging around in ornery all the time, ornery manifestations are happening around you all the time. Now, most of you are jumping around a little bit. In other words, you don't stay only in ornery. Occasionally, something will happen that will captivate your attention, that will bring you to a high-flying place. But for the most part, humans are not consistent about the way they offer vibration because you're offering them in response to what you're observing instead of offering them on purpose in response to how you want to feel. You're responders to vibration. You are responders to things that you are observing. We want you to be the creators of the vibration. We want you to project your vibration deliberately. But you got to catch yourself early in the day. You got to catch yourself before there's momentum already going, because law of attraction won't make it easy for you to break loose of the momentum that's already going. So when you first wake up in the morning and you acknowledge, I'm awake, Esther's been sort of laughing at herself, I'm awake. Am I going to get up? Because if I'm going to get up, I'm going to direct my thought. Or am I going to go back to sleep? I'm going to get up, which means I'm going to get off on the right foot today. I'm going to find some thoughts, some really general, some really simple, some really non-contested thought. I'm not going to think about the thing that bothers me the most. I'm not going to turn on the television. There's too many things bothering too many people in that little box. I'm not going to read the newspaper first thing off because the headlines are all about what I don't want. I'm going to find a thought and I'm going to start momentum because I mean to find vibrational alignment with who I am. So we've been coining the phrase, you want to get on that high-flying disc. You want to get on that high-flying disc. You want to get up to speed. What we want to say to you is, you woke up on that high-flying disc. Don't mess it up. You did. You woke up on the high-flying disc. Now, you might not realize that you did because your thought was so quick to pick up on the momentum that you had going before there was no momentum going. But when you woke up, you were on the high-flying disc. Can you stay there? Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, longer every day. Until eventually, after about 30 days of caring about that, you'll be in control of your own vibrational patterning. And once you're in control of your own vibrational patterning, then you can begin life as you intended it here in this physical experience. When you wake up and you acknowledge that you are awake and you begin appreciating something, your pillow, your bed, the sun came up today, finding something that is not contested, that you have sheer and utter, not compromised appreciation of, and you focus on it for as little as 17 seconds, you've got this day off on the right foot. And so that's really what we want to talk about. Esther said to us the other day, because now she's about 60 or 70 days into this being consciously aware that she is awakened and being determined to start the day out at least on the high-flying disc. And like you, she doesn't always stay there. In the beginning, it was up and down and up and down and up and down. But after about 30 days of consistently sustaining this higher vibration, what she's begun to notice is everything has taken on a different look. Everything looks different at this different vibrational place because law of attraction is causing her to rendezvous not just with different people, not just with different experiences, but the thing that she is noticing the most, that is the most meaningful to her, she's rendezvousing with thoughts that are different.